Hiya, my name's Andy. This is really hard. So let's just have a little chat. What I'm going to do is I'm starting a YouTube channel, and this is basically because just over 12 months ago I had to retire, and I loved doing what I did, being a traditional sign writer. And it wasn't a job, it was a pleasure to be paid for pushing paint around, and I'd love to do it for nothing. If nobody paid me to do it, it would have been my hobby. And unfortunately, due to reasons we may go into, we may not in another video, we'll see, but I'm not able to continue doing that on a commercial level. So I've always had an interest in making video and doing some editing. Never had the courage to sit in front of a camera and actually speak to one. And now this is my first ever time talking to a lens. And hopefully you on the other side will give me a bit of grace and give me a bit of time while I get used to and more comfortable with this. But what I want to do is, I'm really sad that over the years things have happened to traditional crafts and many have gone by the wayside, and signwriting almost disappeared because of the advent of computers. Now, I'm not against progress is great, but everything has its place, and traditional skills should be, well, we should keep them, we should try and keep them, but there's nobody there now to teach people what to do. And I have some knowledge and some experience for over 42 years as a commercial sign writer, and I'm able to pass some of those on to those that may be interested. Or even if you're not interested in learning the skill, you may be interested in just seeing how someone like myself goes about making a sign with just those. Now, to me, it's just an absolute passion, and I believe that we should pass that on to the younger generations and hopefully keep this craft alive. And talking to you, it's very nerve-wracking. It's like I'm sat in my office at home, nobody's in apart from the dogs, who I've just had to tell one of them off to shut up, telling him I'm making a movie. And he is, he's been quiet now, it's been good. But what I want to do is I really want to show all the different aspects of what it means to be a sign writer or a sign painter if you're in another part of the world. I'm in the UK, so as you can tell from my accent, I'm from the north of the UK. I'm originally from the East Coast, where we had an absolute plethora of very good traditional sign writers back in the day. Now I'm knocking on a bit now. I've got 6 grandchildren. Aren't they good? But what I want to do is I want to be able to pass what knowledge I have and hopefully inspire some of you to maybe take this up, at least as a hobby, because it's such a nice hobby. But maybe you might go on to become a commercial sign writer or sign painter wherever you are, hopefully. And I might have a small part in you doing that. So what am I going to do on this channel? I'm going to try and do lots of things. I'm going to try and show you the process of me making a sign, and I'm going to try and make that interesting. I'm going to try and show you some logos, some old-fashioned logos. Maybe take as an example, I mean, we may do this, we may not, but say how the Coca-Cola logo actually developed over the years, and paint one of those and show you the process of how we would scale that up from, we as a sign writer back in the day. Now computers made this very easy, but back in the day I would get a printed letterhead, and you would have to scale that printed letter up many thousands of times to put on the side of a building or on sign on a fascia board on a shop front. And I'll show you how we do that, and it's a very simple process. It just takes time and practice to execute the skills properly, and everybody can learn this, even you. So I've always had that theory. I've always said people come along and they used to come to my workshop and they used to say, Andy, you're so clever. You're so clever being able to do that. And I would say, no, I'm not clever. I mean, did you think I was born with a brush in my hand and I could immediately paint gorgeous letters? I couldn't. In fact, my very first day as a sign writer, I was given a brush and a pot of paint, and it was some poster paper. And the guy, Dennis, I'll mention Dennis, he won't mind me mentioning him, he marked some letters out on this paper and gave me the brush and a mile stick and said, there you go, have a go. And I painted these letters, and yeah, I thought I was out the door. But no, he actually turned around to me and he says, I think there's something there we can work with. And honestly, I'm speaking from here, I created some beautiful pieces over the years, but I'm not boasting here. I'm just saying I came from absolutely nothing. It's a really, really technically difficult skill to learn and to master, to be a good sign writer or a good sign painter. There are people that, you know, they get by, but how I was taught was everything must be precise. If you're going to draw somebody's logo, make sure it's right. There's no artistic value in somebody's logo. You have to represent their logo as is. And that takes a bit of skill and a bit of knowledge. On to other jobs, customers would come and they would say, you do what you feel. Now that's when the artistic flair comes in. But there's always time for that, and there's time for it to grow. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to do a series of lessons as well. So we'll start with the basics. We're going to start with basic brush control. And if you're going to do this and you want to give it a try, you cannot skip these lessons. And it is a bit boring, and to get going, yes, you want to do so. You want to paint a big picture, you know, I don't know, you want to paint SpongeBob SquarePants because it's really colourful and exciting, and no, you want to do some airbrush flames, you know, but that comes in time. You know, when you first went to school, you know, and you couldn't read, you couldn't write, but eventually over time you progressed and you got good at reading, you got good at writing, and the more that you practice, the better you become. It's about muscle memory. So when you pick a brush up, when I pick a brush up, I don't think about what I'm doing. But I've had 42 years doing this, you know, but you will have to think about what you're doing. And I'll tell you, I was told this a very, very long time ago, that I used to say to the person teaching me, I used to say, I'm never going to get this. It's never going to happen. And I was repeatedly told over and over again, because I said this many times, I was always told it'll just click one day, like that bit will come and you'll move on to the next bit. And it does. And all of a sudden you think, oh wow, I'm doing that. I'm twisting my brush and I'm ending at a point. And I didn't even think about it. And when you're not thinking about it, it becomes muscle memory. And that's when it starts to get easier. It'll never, ever be easy though. It's always going to be hard, but it's fun. And every job's a challenge, you know, down to, it could be really intricate patterns that you're painting on something, or it could just be, you know, we work with organic materials, we work with oil-based paints onto wood, and one day is different to another. The humidity and the temperature can affect everything, and that all comes as a learning curve. You eventually work in almost all conditions, so you get used to that. And what I want to show you is how exciting this can be, and I think it's a truly, truly great form of art. And without signs, we wouldn't know where to go. None of you would go to a new town and you would want to find somewhere. How do you find somewhere? Okay, you can get on your phone and go Google and get it on the maps and all that. But when you get there, how do you know you're there? How do you? And that's what people like me have done. We've been unnoticed for years and years, and that's fine, because all we're doing is we're purveying a message that you can read and you can go along and you can then take that, and you know where you are, you know what you're doing, you turn up, you want to go, or you're just walking down the street and you think, oh, I'm hungry, I could do with a sandwich. You know, if none of the shops had signs over saying what they sell, you would be looking around. You'd have to wait until you could physically see into the shop to see what they're doing, but the sign tells you what they do. And if it's done right and it's done tastefully, it's a very nice form of art. We'll talk about the equipment, about the brushes, about the marl stick, about what pencils and markers we use, what other materials, how do we get from nothing to getting that sign done and finished and looking good. So we're going to talk about all that, and to get going I'm going to give you a list of things that you will need. But to get started, you would probably only need 2 brushes, a marl stick, some decent quality enamel paint. I mean, I can't stress this enough. If you go cheap on this and you want to get started, yeah, it's better than nothing. But you know, if you're going to invest the one thing that costs more than anything, which is your time, then treat yourself and get yourself the right materials. You know, it might cost you £50 to get going, you know, and I know to some people £50 is a lot of money. Well, you know, I'm sure you can make sacrifices along the way. I did when I was younger. I still, to this day, I have a Reborn Chesterman tape measure. I don't know, yeah, it's right here on my desk. This tape measure. Now, I bought this when I was a 16-year-old apprentice. I'm now almost 60 and I still have it and I treasure it because I had to save to buy a tape measure. So when you're passionate about something, you will find a way, and you must have the right materials and the right equipment to do the job. Yes, it's not going to make getting a good signwriting brush, a good chisel like this one, like this is a long-haired sable signwriting chisel from AS Handovers in London in the UK, and they're a very good brush maker. I also use another brand of brushes called Rights of Limb, and they're also great brush makers. Now these, yes, for a brush they're expensive, but maybe, I don't know what the price is on one of these now, it's a while since I bought one, maybe 10 to 15 pounds for this. It's a number 7. You can get a smaller one. I would suggest you would only need 2. I would say get a number 4, number 6, and that will get you going. Get some one-shot paint. Everybody in the world almost can get hold of one-shot paint from somewhere. I know you guys in America definitely can, because it's made in Pittsburgh as far as I'm aware. I mean, it's a PPG product, so that's but it's widely available. I have had people in places like South Africa come to me and say, where do I get this paint from? But I did find, I mean, a little bit of research will get you out. Get onto our friend Google and have a look and find it. What I would say about the brushes is do not skimp, do not go down the synthetic route, because I'd love them to work. It'd be great if they worked, but they just don't. They just don't hold enough paint and they just don't feel right. So you need pure sable brushes really for signwriting. But yes, they're expensive as a standalone brush against any other brush, but they're not that much. And you'll need a marl stick. Now, marl stick, everybody's seen one of these, I'm sure. And basically, there are people that signwrite and don't use a marl stick. They'll use the finger or they'll use their arm. I was always taught with a marl stick, I can use a finger and I can use my arm. So I can use all 3. So learn with the marl stick. If you're going to do this, I'm a great believer in anything that you're going to do in life. If you're going to do it right. So learn everything. It takes time. Yes, it does. Everything takes time, but do it right. Making this video has been a real challenge for me, and it's taken me, I've been years thinking about doing this, and since I retired last year, I've been wanting to get it going because I finally have the time to do this. but I've been so nervous. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? You know, nearly 60-year-old granddad. I've got my own kids and loads of grandchildren, and I'm not a nervous person. I'm quite all right. I'm all right in company. I can talk to anybody, but sitting in front of this camera and talking to you on the other side that I've never met is really nerve-wracking for me. So hats off to all those guys with their YouTube channels, whatever they may be. And if you've made a video and you've put it out there, congratulations, well done, because I'm now just starting to learn how difficult this is. So I hope I've come across okay. I hope I haven't rambled too much. What I would like to say is please, if you are interested in the traditional crafts like sign writing, I will at some stage in the future, I will start doing some reverse glass gilding and things like that. I'll be showing that. I'll be doing pop art. I'll be showing that. I love doing, I love painting black and white pictures, just, you know, two colours, flat black, flat white. I love doing that, trying to show how just something so simple can look really good. And that's what I like. But I hope I've come across okay. I hope you've enjoyed this first video. I'll be doing some more updates, because at the moment, while what's happening at the moment is I don't have a workshop. So a friend of mine is coming over to help me, and over the summer we're going to build a workshop, and then the real tutorial videos and everything else will come along. I'll do some updates in the meantime, and we'll get some community posts going, and hopefully you'll come back to me with some questions, and you'll also be able to tell me what you'd like to see from me. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you soon.